Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your review show. I'm your host Khalid Moeedin, and this is the show where we sum up everything that happens between South Africa versus Sri Lanka in the Boxing Day Test. Now, South Africa seemed to be in full control of this match so far. A lot of people were talking about after Sri Lanka posted 396 that South Africa were out of the game, and I was quite surprised that people said that when 396 was scored. I mean, it's the test series, so it's normal for people to see scores of 396, 400. I guess in the modern day era, everybody wants to see scores that are under 380 or 350, around about 350. They don't want to see scores go to 400. But I think South Africa kind of shut up those doubters by scoring 621 in their first innings. Obviously, it was a good start by Algar and Aiden Markram on day two that actually set the tone. And then obviously when they lost their wickets, and obviously Quinton fell and Rassie fell, it was Faf du Plessis and Temba Bavuma that put on an incredible partnership, and that kind of set the tone for South Africa. Very two heartbreaking dismissals. So first and foremost, Temba Bavuma missing the ball and walking immediately, which was quite shocking. But also quite sad because I really wanted to see him go on to score that triple figures. Then Faf du Plessis playing the ball quite well and judging the pitch and judging the balls quite well throughout the game. He goes for a little bit more of an expensive shot to try to smack that ball over the top of the fielder and goes straight to the fielder on 199, which was quite sad for me. I mean, I almost shed a tear. That is my way of saying that I did shed a slight tear. You guys can make out what I'm trying to say over there, but I think I almost shed a tear when Faf du Plessis went out for 199. It's been a long time coming for him. I think a lot of people wanted to see him score that double ton for the first time in his career, because I mean he crushed a lot of milestones during this game. I mean, first and foremost, he scored his career best, obviously smashing his previous career best of 137, which he scored, I can't remember, back in against New Zealand, I think it was. And yeah, I can't remember exactly what the date was. And then obviously his 10th ton as well as bringing up 10,000 test runs as well. So it was quite a good day for South Africa and for Faf du Plessis. Unfortunately, yeah, he obviously lost his wicket on 199. But with regards to Faf himself, I mean, and talking about his innings and what stood out with regards to his innings, I think that majority of his runs went with a cover drive. So it was quite excellent on the way he batted. It was nice to see that. But today, particularly, he was quite lucky, I think, in certain areas. I mean, he got a few edges, he got a few nicks. But I mean, when you're going to score a big century like that, majority of the time you do get a little lucky. So I was very impressed with the way he batted. But I think another heartbreaking thing is that the wicket of Temba, because I mean he looked very good for his 71, like extremely good. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. He looked in full control, apart from that one shot, and we could see that every single time South Africa tried to go after a ball that pitched a little bit on the fourth, fifth stump, they actually lost the wicket. Similarly to Sri Lanka. Now South Africa obviously taking 2 early wickets in this particular match. It didn't really bother Sri Lanka in the first innings. So I don't know if it's going to bother them in the second innings, but I think that putting them in a good space at the moment where they are at. But I'm going to get my friends to come help me out to give their analysis on the game. That was just my short summary of everything that happened. And guys who are watching, 40% of you guys are not subscribed, but you're watching all the videos, which is quite weird. So please, guys, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. If you guys want to contribute with a super chat, there is a $ in the bottom right-hand corner of the live chat where you can click on that, and you can either put an emoji if you don't want to make a comment, or you can put some money behind a comment so that your comment can stand out. I have to give you some insight into that though, and some instructions. So at the moment on an iPhone, you can't do a super chat from the app. And as well as there's certain Android YouTube apps that block ads, etc., that you can't buy super chats from. So you can only probably do it from your browser on Google Chrome, on YouTube and from your laptop. So if you want to help us out and you want to give us a small donation, that would really help us a lot. But without further ado, let me introduce you to our panel today, Sumpo and Aaron. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Harvard. Well, hello, boys, I should say, actually. Hello, and Poe as well.
Yeah, guys, I just want to give you guys some insight. So we've got this WhatsApp group, so all of us are in, to the guys in the live chat over here. So Paul was very quiet today because Paul didn't want to get involved with the discussions. He was busy working.
I was on
He was busy
commentary
working.
on one WSR, so just couldn't.
Yeah, I knew that. So he was quite quiet, and I always keep relatively quiet on the chat. But Aaron, he loves it, and I love it because it keeps it nice and lively, keeps everybody engaged. So some awesome stuff was said there, but it's only for our ears. Wink, wink. Maybe if you contribute to some super chats, we'll show you Aaron's messages. Now I'm just joking. Okay, guys. So let's just get your summaries. What was the biggest moments for you? Obviously, we spoke about Faf, but what were some of the key factors for you? Why did South Africa dominate so much with the bat, or why did Faf particularly dominate so much with the bat, and Temba as well?
I think for me, the South Africans got into a period. I think Faf and Temba batted in a period where Sri Lanka still had able-bodied frontline seamers bowling at them. But obviously, once Temba went out, and that was just obviously bizarre and disappointing to watch. He batted so well. He held, and that's the anchor role you want as a six from any team in the world. Obviously, you want to get him to get a lot more centuries, but that's the role that even you would have expected from Kyle Verreynne to do, because he's done that this season at the Cobras, and so he did that quite well. Obviously, he heard a nick. He heard a noise, and that's why he put his bat under his arm and he walked. Some international captains in world cricket don't do that. So, his honesty kind of let him down. But I do think towards the back end...
Bro, just English.
Okay. But obviously Temba left at with the lead just going over. So we had just finished, we just got over, we had just covered the deficit. And then it was Keshav and... it was Keshav and Faf who took it on, but I kind of felt that Keshav came in a time where those injuries started piling on. Kumara then went off. Hasaranga then fell on the ball and got a dead leg or something that kind of didn't work out. And then you had to go into Karunaratne, who's 2 wickets in international cricket, Faf du Plessis at the last series, and Cheteshwar Pujara in India. So he has some very nice names. It's just obviously he's still 100 kilometers per hour, and it was very easy for Keshav. And to a certain extent,
contrary to popular belief.
So I think we were worried on commentary that Faf was going to get out to Karunaratne again, because the last time he got bowled on middle stump, it was a Yorker length ball. So yeah, but look, I think in as much as obviously it's great to see South Africa dominate like this. It's just obviously a little bit dampened on the fact that obviously there's a team that has about 4 players that are injured right now, and Grant Flower on the interview at the end of play said they effectively are 5 down. They don't have Rajita, who's not going to come out to bat. Lahiri Kumar is not coming out to bat, and obviously we know about Dhananjaya De Silva. And then also there's a groin situation with Chandimal as well. And Hasaranga might just come on because obviously we saw him bowl there. So they're going through a lot, and I think that's a little bit tough. But in essence, South Africa hasn't played well. They've batted well. They've put away the bad balls against the bowling attack that kind of died out towards the end for the final 200 runs, and that wasn't bowling well initially. And even South Africa, from a bowling perspective, I honestly, that session to that hour on the back end was horrible to watch. Yes, Lungi took 2 wickets, but we can't be having overs where you keep on giving a 4-ball over and over again. You need to build spells rather than overs. It's not limited overs cricket, it's test cricket. So you can go for an over where you bowl 6 balls outside the off stump, and that's fine. You don't need to be searching for wicket all the time. As Dean called it yesterday, it's controlled aggression. You need to be able to balance your greediness in either getting runs or getting wickets with the ability to be able to hold the game and build up pressure. And I think the South African bowlers are really struggling. Yes, they're all pretty much babies in Test cricket, and so they're learning on the job. But the one bowler who's impressed me immensely is Vian Mulder. He got the ball to swing in and to swing out, and so that was also good. So Keshav, Faf, and then Vian towards the back end of the day. Obviously, in terms of
his consistency was incredible. Vian, I think that he bowls consistently on the same spot, and that's why maybe people are comparing him to the likes of Jacques Kallis, because that's how Jacques Kallis bowled towards the end of his career, kind of. And I think that's why people want to make those comparisons, and they can bat a bit as well. But Aaron, from your point of view, what was the most exciting thing as a neutral for you?
Well, to be honest, there were quite a few things, actually. So first of all, we have to start with Faf du Plessis. Absolutely brilliant. I was gutted. Absolutely gutted. I actually had an Instagram post ready for the 200. I was ready to celebrate along the rest of South Africa. And then he just got out in the most un-Faf du Plessis-like dismissal that he could have got out to. And obviously the pressure got to him. The situation probably is thinking about in his head how he's going to celebrate, and that just let him down. But he was absolutely extraordinary today. Just nothing sort of exceptional, really controlled, composed, played magnificently alongside the likes of Bavuma and Maharaj. And again, it was just champagne cricket, I suppose, from Faf du Plessis, as always. In addition to Faf, I've just mentioned two names there, Bavuma. I mean, fair play to him. Okay, that shows that he has actually got the spirit of the game, I suppose. He was willing to walk.
What are you doing, Khalid?
Sorry, man. My fingers slipped there.
Okay.
You know what? That reminded me, if you remember back to last year's World Cup at Old Trafford, India versus Pakistan, when Kohli, he thought he gloved it and he walked off. It was pretty much the exact same situation. He didn't actually touch it. And I suppose, again, it is very, very strange. Okay, cricket's a very strange game, but what a way to get out. But yeah, up until that point, he looked brilliant, looked set for three figures. And I think heading into not only this series, the second match, but also into the rest of the international summer, Bavuma could really use this as a platform to build some confidence, build some momentum. And he looked really good in the role, I thought. Played a fantastic anchor role alongside Faf du Plessis. And then the third and final batsman I'll mention is Keshav Maharaj. Okay, he was playing pull shots, which is something I wasn't expecting from Keshav. Usually someone who's a bit more of a blocker. But he came out of his shell a bit today. I was really impressed. Provided some impetus towards the end of that innings as well alongside the tail. So all in all, I suppose, if you are a South Africa fan, there's not really much to complain about from a batting perspective. It was absolutely brilliant. And just before I mention the bowling towards the end of the day as well, I just want to give a massive, massive shout out to the Sri Lankan bowlers, because you think it has been a really, really hard grind. You've lost three bowlers there, Lahiru Kumara, you've lost Dhananjaya Silva as well, who does bowl a bit of off spin, and of course Kasim Rajita, who got injured yesterday. So those guys to come out there, take all 10 wickets, battle at least to try and get a bit more pride back, I suppose, I think is very, very commendable. And in particular, with Indu Hasaranga, I saw quite a bit of, I want to say, Twitter comments about him being over aggressive and all this, that, the other, maybe not being a good enough bowler for the international stage. I thought he actually stood out. He was their second most economic bowler. He took 4 wickets, took the key wickets of Quinton de Kock and Faf du Plessis as well. And for me, I think he actually had a pretty good debut. I know, obviously, he went for a lot of runs, 171 runs or something like that. But yeah, he impressed me as well. And then heading into that final day, final hour of today's play, as Poe rightly said, it was a bit of a bag. I think Lungi Ngidi's 2 wickets were brilliant. But other than that, it was just a bit, I don't know, here and there, bits and pieces almost from the South Africa seamers. It's something that they really need to work on. There needs to be a bit more, clarity, in their game plan. There needs to be bowling a tad bit fuller as well. I do think they've been a bit short at times, as were Sri Lanka in that first innings. But yeah, I think I have to say it's advantage Proteas. As Poe also said as well, they've got loads of injuries. All it takes tomorrow is 2 or 3 early wickets, and yeah, South Africa pretty much wrapped it up. So yeah. Good. I think the Proteas, and a fantastic way to start the series.
And I'm sitting here watching Kagiso doing laps around the field. So for the bowlers, there's a lot of incentive to make sure that your spot isn't lost with Kagiso coming in. But obviously, I do think they'll go with Anurg Nokia and Lungi Ngidi. I just feel as though Anurg being used as that enforcer role has really diminished his skill set in red ball cricket. It's similar to Duan Olivier, who I always felt Duan could only bowl that shorter length, and that was it. His fuller length was very loopy, easy for batsmen to kind of pick out as to which one's the fuller one, and it came slightly slower than what he would bowl if he was bowling short. And today, that's what we saw, and that's why I think Sri Lanka just climbed into him, because it was short, it was wide. He tried to bowl the full ball, it was too wide. He does not offer any. He does not land the ball on the seam, so he offers no assistance. He doesn't get anything from the new ball. And so that's why he was just being plastered all over the field. I think he ended with an economy rate of above 7 when he finished his spell. So there's a lot of work that needs to go into Anrich Nortje's game as he grows into international cricket, especially bowling with the new cherry. But Lungingiti showed us glimpses of what he did. I think he set up Kusal Mendes incredibly well. He manages to get the ball to jag in, and Vian Mulder bowled well to Kusal Pereira. But obviously Kagiso's back, which is the big news of the day, and I think it provides a little bit more ease to the South African fans in terms of just understanding that going to the Wanderers, you don't have these babies in Test cricket. You now have this behemoth leading them. Kagiso is 1 wicket away from 200. So I think that's a good thing from a South African perspective.
You see, with the Anrich Nortje situation, I think what the instructions were, well, you guys have to correct me if I'm maybe talking a bit of crap here, but what it seemed like is like they gave Anrich the instructions to bowl aggressively and attacking, right? Because, 600 on the board, of course. I know it's only a 220 lead, but I thought that they were trying to make the Sri Lankan batsmen play shots, because they obviously, with Anrich's extra pace, if they get anything on it, it's going to go to the boundary. They look into obviously, and Sri Lanka looked like they were trying to score a little bit quicker than I thought. I thought they'll be a little bit more patient up front, but they were trying to play Anrich Nortje and trying to get shots quickly and put him on the back foot. And that actually fell into Lungingiti's hands, because Lungingiti doesn't mess up his mark. He keeps on hitting it on the same spot consistently, making you play, angling to the batsman consistently, and that's kind of made him. Sorry, man. It's a Ravi that popped up at the bottom here, and he's wearing he looks like a detective gadget here. So I'll just bring him on the thing and see why I'm laughing.
Ravi, stop calling us on date nights, bro. Don't do this.
Yeah, date night was cut short when I said I want to watch Keshav actually score 100. And that never happened.
Yeah. I know there's not a lot. I don't want to criticize South Africa at all. But just for like the unbiasedness and the talk, what I didn't appreciate from Keshav is how he rushed Faf du Plessis, man. Faf is on the other end or 180 odd, 170 odd at that point, and this guy was just take quick singles. I'm like, hey, whoa, just slow it down there, but man, you don't have to take a quick single every single time.
You know Faf better than most people. He's always keen for a quick single or two, right? So I think he was happily obliged with that.
Ravi, are you trying to take a buy spot?
Hey?
Are you trying to be a buy?
I want to be like a buy. You know, I'll make Aaron feel at home. I think this is Jonathan Prott's house here. Anyways, hi Jonathan. No, I'm just kidding. He doesn't live there. Anyways, what else I saying? Yeah, I think it was a rush of blood to the head. 199. He wanted to end it quickly. It was a monkey off his back. It didn't quite happen this time round. What can you do? Smells like a braai. Okay.
It's that type of period now. You need to have a proper braai, Aaron. I hope you come to Cape Town sometimes so you can have a proper braai, not a barbecue, a proper braai.
Invite me too when Aaron comes as well.
Boys, don't worry.
Cool, guys. So there's not a lot I want to I can criticize South Africa on. Let's look at some of the comment section over here and see what some of the guys are saying. Someone Dex already saying Sri Lanka innings defeat on the cards. Great powers of concentration by Faf for 274 balls before that last one. Now we need to get Pereira and Chandamal early, as they have been batting quickly without
KP, what's up?
Look at this guy talking a lot of rubbish.
I'm just kidding. Pretty much half of the
but
cricket team lives here. That's amazing.
If you see KP in the street, run away.
you
The
play
kid's
a
supposed to be in isolation. So you can't just say, "Hey, KP."
But you guys laugh. Nick Compton literally lives about 2 blocks away from here. It'll probably be a matter of time until I find his house.
don't be like a weird, creepy stalker now. You have the hat and everything to prove it. Now you want
Oh, hi, Nikki. So you play on drive.
Ravi, exactly how many beers did you have?
You know, light beers. And I'm going for a power walk. At
Yeah, I
like
can see that. I can see that.
Where in the world are you? Where in Cape Town are you?
Rondebosch, Cape Town. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
theatre
Are you taking a walk around the
Cape Town.
common?
No.
You might as well walk to my house, but
Will they let me inside?
I won't let you inside. You must stay outside.
You are this massive dogs here. Jesus.
Yeah. So anyway, let me just get back into some of the comments over here. We have I must say Bavuma's dismissal was one of the most bizarre things I've seen from a batsman. Batted very well. I think Mulder missed a big opportunity to get a big score for himself as well. I think so
Can
too.
I
He
speak
rushed his
about
shot.
Bian as well? Can I speak
Yes,
about
you can.
Bian? I actually thought that 35 was actually pretty good, and I think if he gives us 35, batting at 7, with the tail or established batsman, it's something that we can build on. And for a young batsman and a bowling all-rounder giving you a 35, and if you can be consistent, because that's the problem we've had with Vern and the other guys, is that the consistency was lacking. So I was really happy with the way he batted today. I thought he should get a 50, and it probably was my fault. I probably put the mockers on him because I thought if he scored a 50 now, he probably cemented his place in this team for the next year. But I think he batted very well.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that's exactly what Werner is also saying. It's just that we would have liked to obviously see him get a 50 or push it a little bit further in the innings. It would have been nice to see that, of course. Hasn't the pitch been too flat for Test cricket, given the format is 5 day long and ultimately restoring the balance between bat and ball? No, I don't think so. If you listened to what Dean Alga had to say about the wicket, and if you listened to what Dean Alga had to say over the wicket, he said that you had to actually work for your runs. It wasn't giving you a lot of opportunities to do so. You have to bat really well, or you have to, and you have to bowl really well, obviously, because you could see that with certain patches, if you kept the ball on that specific areas, the batsmen struggled to get runs. It's just that I felt that Sri Lanka were not as consistent as South Africa, first and foremost, and we thought South Africa was inconsistent, but Sri Lanka wasn't, especially after they lost a lot of their fast bowlers, and it makes it difficult for them to be able to build bowling partnerships, which is so crucial. And that's what Anrichto spoke about before the series, is building bowling partnerships are very crucial, especially on wickets like this. Aaron, anything you want to say on this particular comment? By walking without edging, Temba proved that he's like-for-like substitution for Virat Kohli.
What did I say?
Get him into that Indian team. Get him in. Concussion side, here we go.
Oh, Lord. Let's see this is a little bit more over here. If Temba can do that on a consistent basis while maybe converting some into hundreds, then his spot is rightly earned in the team. I think that there was some commentary from Amla and from JP and from guys and Vernon and them that were speaking about it. And Sean Pollock also mentioned it. They said the value of having someone that has a fighting mentality in the team. Now, you might not see it with regards to stats, and a lot of the players, yes, cricket's a statistical game and you pick on statistics, but players like them are very much valued in the side, just purely because of their mindset, purely because of their attitude and for their fighting spirit. So I don't know who else we can compare Temba to necessarily if I look around world cricket right now. Aaron, is there anybody that springs? Yeah.
Tim Payne. Largely because him and Tim Payne don't give up their wickets that easily, unless if it's like a good ball. Today was one of the few times where Temba gave up his wicket quite easily. but Temba's always going to fight it out, even when the conditions are hard. And if you look at the innings of note from Temba, they're always when South Africa on the back foot. The last time South Africa traveled to Sri Lanka, he had this 100-run partnership with Tianis de Bruin to kind of give the bowler something to bowl at after Sri Lanka had us in all sorts of trouble. He scored a half century, and Tianis scored a century in that game. But it showed that he was able to do that. In India, he did that in the last tour. Yes, it wasn't a big score, but he joined this team at a time where this team wasn't winning test matches, where there were always top order collapses. And this is one of the first times where Temba came into the side, but he came into batting yesterday when the team needed some help. They needed a big partnership, and he got it. And that's what you get from a guy like Temba. It's obviously, it's not about, I think they're much better naturally capable batsmen with the talent and the ability. But I think his mentality in this game of cricket, even opening in T20s and ODIs when many people think he's not good enough, shows that he's a thinker and he's a fighter, and he just doesn't let things go easily. And I think that's one thing I hoped many people saw throughout Temba's career. Yes, the numbers don't call it up, but I look at how Tim Payne has come into this Australia side, and even though there are much better batsmen sitting in Australia who are wicketkeepers too, and many people don't want him, but the fact that he's willing to take up the captaincy and on top of that, bat Australia out of holes, even now in the series. I think the captains in the series average 80-something together. I think that was before Tim Payne got out in this India series. And so I look at that and I'm like, okay, cool. But I think going back in time, I think Ashwell Prince had a similar character. He was a fighter. He was a little bit more, I think, more talented than Temba, much more of a stroke maker. Temba is a stroke maker, but I think Ashy P was just at that extra level on him. But yeah, I think that's the only other guy I'd look at.
I just want to mention something about Quinton. So people are saying, yeah, you see, Quinton's batting at 5 is too high. And I'm like, not necessarily, because if you look at the situations that Quinton had to bat when we had batting collapses, it's almost like he was batting as a number 3 or number 4. I mean, already, because he was always coming in when the top order collapsed. Now again today, actually, he wasn't batting as a number 5 necessarily, you would say, because obviously we lost wickets after there was some runs on the board. So he's not batting as a 5 per se, high up the order as people are making it seem to be. 5 and 6, very similar positions, I feel, in my eyes. And I don't think that will obviously determine whether he must bat if 5 is too high. I just think he got a good ball. That's what he did, and he obviously nicked it. And I think that's the truth. It was a good top spinner from your dude, Aaron. Okay, let's sum it up. Let's start with Ravi, because Ravi's been walking like 700 miles already and hasn't said a word. Ravi, let's sum up what your thoughts are of the day, what you expect on day 4.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I think my wife wouldn't mind if I walk 700 miles, that's for sure. But anyways, what I was going to say is that definitely advantage South Africa on what has obviously been a sort of a starter test match dominated by the Sri Lankans. I think South Africa responded very well, to say the very least. The top 6, I think, sort of, I would say, answered the critics in the best possible way. Definitely Faf du Plessis, I think came in. Sorry, I didn't lose my breath. There was just like a hell of a lot of braai smoke coming my way. I think the entire neighborhood decided to braai at the same time. But anyways, as I was saying, I think they responded the best possible way. Obviously, I think we would have loved to have seen Faf raise his bat for his inaugural 200. But I'm anticipating a win tomorrow for the Proteas.
Oh, tomorrow already.
Sri Lanka bowled out tomorrow.
Wow.
I think they're going to be bowled out for poultry score. They'll definitely surpass the lead. So they'll get over 200. But I think that more than likely South Africa will win tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, let's go with Aaron.
I have to agree with Ravi there, to be honest. Not something that's going to happen often, Ravi. But I do think that South Africa are going to wrap this up more likely than not tomorrow, purely because Sri Lanka have been plagued with injuries, let's face it. And when you think about luck, spoke earlier about Du Plessis missing and edging quite a few. I think with Sri Lanka, they've had absolutely rotten luck. And you think today as well, Niroshan Dickwella got stung by a bee, cap it all off. That was like the icing on the cake. But yeah, I do feel like this South Africa attack, if they can just tighten up the lines, we've already mentioned about game plans and bowling periods instead of just individual overs. If they can do that, I think they should be able to wrap this up by the end of the afternoon session tomorrow, hopefully, if the weather stays nice in Centurion. But yeah, either way, it does look like a South Africa victory on the cards. It's going to be a fantastic way to kick off this series. And it does send out a message. It does send out a message that, as Ravi said, this top six, I know Van der Dusen and de Kock didn't get big scores, but they can actually produce the goods when needed. So for me, South Africa win. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be tomorrow.
Awesome. Paul?
Look, I think from my end, South Africa need to bowl well to get Sri Lanka out. And yes, they're injured, but there is going to be some sort of a fight. And beware of a team whose back is against the wall. Remember, Sri Lanka in the last Test series in Durban, their backs were against the wall. That last wicket partnership effectively won them the match. And it was like a record, whatever, the last wicket partnership in world cricket and whatever it was. And so don't write them out. They've lost two of their capable batsmen. They still have Chandimal out there who's going to have to figure out if he's got a groin injury or anything else. Kusal Pereira is still out there, and he's batted very nicely with the tail before. And Hasaranga might still come out. Dasun Shanaka is still good enough for a bat. So I don't want South Africans to get complacent, even though we're in the pound seats. It's probably the best position we've ever been in over the past 24 months. So enjoy it. I think the last time we were in this position was Australia at the Wanderers, when we had them had them in some sort of a chokehold. So do enjoy this as a South African fan, but the bowling attack, I think the one thing to watch tomorrow is who's the guy who's going to sit out for Kagiso Rabada. I don't think it's just a fait accompli with Sipamla stepping out. I think Anrich Nortje's spot in this test side might be a question for the next one if he keeps on not hitting those lines and lengths. I get he needs to bowl aggressive, but you also need to be accurate. I'm a fan of the short ball, but get the batsman playing, get the batsman being starting to be afraid. So let the ball go past his nose, go past the helmet. Don't just bowl just random short and wide balls. So tomorrow, that's one thing to watch. I'm excited to see Luta Sipamla bowl. He's not going to get the new ball, but I do think he might come out with some wickets because he's also quite accurate. So I think that's something for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Kagiso Rabada definitely comes in, and it might be that we don't get to see Clinton Steedman in this particular series. I'm hoping that, I don't know, maybe they will bring both of them in, take Nokia out and Luto out, and then put in Glenton to give Glenton also a chance, because you would have gotten a chance in this one, just to be fair. But also, it's a little bit unfair to take someone out that performed the way he did, Luta Sipamla, especially in his second and third spells. So thanks, guys, everybody, for watching. Please come and tune in again for tomorrow. And please, can you also do some super chats with us and get your comments highlighted so that you can help donate towards Cricket Fanatics magazine, because I mean, we're 100% bootstrapped, and we're using all our savings to keep these things alive. So please, guys, help us out with some super chats already. Help us out to create much better content. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, click that notification bell for all future videos. Subscribe to the magazine, it's free. Link is on the screen and in the description. You can go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your updates. We have a Sri Lanka series tab where you can click up and keep up to date on all the wraps of the days and the session moments that we've been doing throughout the test match. If you guys have a business and you're looking to make sales online, even if you have business offline, link is in the description. There's a free tutorial on this channel. Thanks, Tumpo. Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Aaron, for coming on the show. As usual, I really enjoy your insights, and we'll see you hopefully again tomorrow, everyone. Take care, and enjoy the rest of the test.